What's up, nerds? Welcome back to my channel, guys. I don't know why I'm so giddy today. I really have no reason to be because actually that's why. I just finished The Fourth Wing last night. So if you have not seen my Reading Fantasy for Our Only Week reading vlog, definitely go check it out because I am dying a miserable death because I'm finished with The Fourth Wing and it's not November. I was debating that too. I was like, should I start it like in October so that I'm finished and I don't have to wait that long? But I was also like, but it's killing me and I really want to read it. So I'm like, I gotta read it now. I'll just reread it in October. See? Logic. Anyway, as you guys saw by the title, we will be doing bingeable. It's kind of, okay, books I read in a day. But these are like bingeable books, which is funny because I honestly did not expect this stack to be this stack. I was like, oh, it's probably this one, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Some books took me like 2 days to read, but these are the books that I literally read in 24 hours. Some less than 24 hours, like it's obscene. So I thought it was really fun. So first, if you guys like books, if you guys like reading, if you guys like all the nerdy things, definitely hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's just get started. I was gonna say I might even make like a separate video called binge-worthy books because some of these I feel like aren't even like, I don't even know why I read them in a day. I mean, they're good books, they are, but none of these are like The Fourth Wing. I would say is a binge-worthy book. Like, stay up all night, read for 24 hours if it takes you that long to finish that book. But like, not some of these I would say that, but not all of these. So I'm like, what the heck? So I might do a separate video of ones that I feel like you could read in a day. You know what I'm saying? If you guys don't know, I do work a full-time job. So I work basically 9 to 5, 9 to 5:30 actually. And so when I read books, I only have like some time in the morning because usually I don't like, I have like a half hour to an hour in the morning. I have like a half hour of break time and then I have the rest of the night, and I usually go to bed around 10. So like it's only giving like 5 or so hours to read in a day. So some of these books, it was like I read for that day, but it wasn't a 24, I read it before the 24 hours was up, if that makes sense. Some of these I know, like I was on like a Saturday where I was just reading all day. Other ones of these, like I must have been off or something like that because I'm like, I don't know how I read you in a day. Some of them were literally like in my notebooks, it tells you from when to from when. Some of these were literally from the same day to the same day. Like I'm like, that is less than 24 hours. That's insane. So that's funny. First things first, I somehow read both of these, not in the same day, but both in one day. So I actually read them in the wrong order. I read The Wedding Crusher first by Mia Sosa. My friend actually got this for me. I honestly don't remember much about it, but I remember really enjoying it. I thought it was just a fun experience. I know it is open door romance as well. So there are some scenes in there. I just remember I wrote in my like thing, I was like, why that hideous cover? And I hate their faces. I hate that cover. It's so ugly. It is so ugly, but like just take the faces off and like this whole vibe is super cute. I think it was like he like, ooh, I think she was the bride was cheating on him or something like that, or like the bride was talking to some ex or something like that, and I think she like overhears, and then she gets up like when they're like, anyone object, and she says something like, do it now. She says something like objection, and then she's like, oh my gosh, I'm like so sorry I ruined your wedding. And he's like, well, I guess like you did me a favor, but he was also like but she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like if you need anything let me know. So then I guess he needs a fake date for something. I think she might need a fake date for something as well. So they end up being fake daters, fake dating partners. Literally, that's everything the back says. So you guys basically have the premise. It was super fun. Again, super fun and fresh. I think she was, I don't know what, I think she's Colombian, something like that. So you get a bit of the Spanish culture, which I thought was super, super fun. Maybe something like that, but it was so much fun. I really did enjoy it. I don't know, still don't know how or why. I think it's just because it's such an easy read. The like font is normal. Everything about this book is like normal, so you could probably just read it. It's only 385 pages. Honestly, that seems like a lot more than I expected to be, but for some reason I read it in a day. I don't know. But again, I also read this one in a day as well, The Worst Best Man. They are funny, and I would say they are pretty bingeable because they're not like they don't take a dramatic toll on your like soul. You kind of just read them and they're a good time. You laugh a lot. And so I could see how I read now that I'm thinking about it, I can see how I read them in a day because it was just so fun. You know what I mean? So what the heck, I don't even remember this one. This one is supposed to come first. So if you want to read them in order, they're interconnected standalones. I learned that term. So this one is, you read this one first if you want to read them in the right order. But this one, I think she's supposed to marry something. I remember. She's supposed to marry this guy. And then the brother, so this guy tells him like, oh, you don't want to do this. You don't want to screw up your life like this. Like blah, blah, blah. And so he ends up leaving and like ditching the wedding. And the girl's like, what the heck? So eventually, so whatever. So this was like, I think like 5 years before the actual book takes place. So then they run into each other again, where they're both like at the same job, whatever, end up at the same job, but they have to work in partners. So this guy, the brother, gets partnered with the bride, and then this guy gets partnered with another person. And then they have to work together, and then you can see where all that goes. Yeah, it's giving enemies to lovers. But again, they're really just fun books. This one, I know exactly why I read this in a day. This book is so good. This is The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. I gotta take the sticker off. This book was so good. This is the second part. It's the interconnected standalone, but it's the second one to Elena Armas, Spanish Love Deception. And I know people really enjoy that book. I like this one better. I do like that one a lot. This one is just so cute. Again, Spanish culture, which I just love. I think they're like, I don't even know, maybe Peruvian. One of them is Peruvian. I don't know exactly, but I know that they say like Spanish words that I recognize sometimes, and I'm like, okay. Or I had to look up, but I'm like, okay, I get it. But he's just Lucas. I'm gonna call him Luca. Lucas is the cutest boy ever. Like, I love this man. Like, love him. This is also an open door romance. This one is just, so they call it The American Roommate Experiment because something happens with her house and she has to live somewhere else. So she moves into her best friend's house. Now her best friend she's on her honeymoon, and her best friend is actually the main girl in the Spanish Love Deception, just so you know. But she's on her honeymoon, so she can't communicate with her. They can't talk back and forth because wherever they are. And so she's like, well, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I stay at her guest house. So she goes to stay at the guest house. Well, then he shows up at the guest house and is like, oh, like she said I could stay here, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm from blah, 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 and I'm just staying here for now. And she's like, what the heck? And then she actually has been crushing on him for like months, years and days, through Instagram, just looking at his stuff. And so that was already a cute like little added thing. But whatever. So they're in it's a studio, so everything is out in the open and everything is in one room, which I think was, again, a cute addition. Forced proximity. I guess technically friends to lovers, because I don't think they're necessarily enemies, but I guess they're not technically friends either. So I guess that doesn't matter. But The American Roommate Experiment, the best friend tells her, like, girl, you got to get out there dating, like, maybe just do this. And she's like, maybe let's do an experiment. So then he ends up helping her do this experiment and going on fake dates with her and just the cutest stuff ever. And so, of course, you know where that goes. It was just so much fun, and I was just addicted. It was like a drug. It was like a drug. It was so good. Okay, this one I can see how I read it in a day, but I'm like, dang, Marissa. I think, yeah, the writing is not, like, it's pretty average. If I like, from, like, what I think, I feel like it's pretty average, pretty decent, like, size font. So I feel like maybe that's why. I was addicted to this as well. This is The Temporary Wife by Katharina Mara. I'm just, like, it feels like a big book. Oh, I didn't tell you. The American Roommate Experiment is 383 pages. Look, this is preciosa. Oh my god. So good. Okay. Anyway. But this one, let's see. This one is actually 372 pages, so it's less than those. I just feel like it's a pretty hefty book, but again, it was just one that I just wanted to know what happened. I remember I would like turn the flashlight on my phone and like read, because I gotta get a reading lamp because I didn't want to get up to turn on my light, you know what I mean? So I just use a flashlight on my phone and then just keep reading, because it was like, I want to know what's gonna happen. There's so much to this book that is just so good. So again, I've explained this a few times, but if you guys, this is your first video, or you want me to re-explain, the this family is the Windsors. I don't know how to say their name, but they're millionaire romances. But their grandmother actually, since they all get in arranged marriages, their grandmother picks the person for them. So the grandmother picks the person for the guy in this, Luca. Not Lucas, Luca. And she picks his girl, whatever, his wife, his future wife. And he's like, I can't do this. So then he secretly gets married to his secretary, who he secretly has just been like, not crushing on necessarily, but definitely like has a soft spot for. Again, this is one of those books where the guy falls first, he falls harder, and he just has this soft spot for the girl, and I think it's so cute. There is, like, this is a very open door romance, and this is super, super spicy, but the relationship is so fun. The banter is so cute, just the relationship is so good, and I've been addicted to billionaire romance. So again, I could see how I read it in one day, but I just didn't think that I would have. I was gonna go in order, but I might as well just go in like order. I also read The Wrong Bride in one day. So this is the first one, technically, again, interconnected standalones. This one is just the oldest brother. It came first, so the only reason why you need to necessarily know that is if you want to read, like if you're gonna read them all, might as well read them in order, because the second one kind of, it's hard to explain. They kind of happen at the same time, like during the same timeline. Like in this one, they go to this person's wedding. And so like, it's like so, and then you get like thoughts and stuff from this book in this book, you know what I mean? From these two couples' perspectives, if that makes sense. So they're kind of like on the same timeline. I don't know how to say that like properly. But again, if you want to read them both, you might as well just read them in order. I did not, but it doesn't like ruin anything, but I would have liked to. So this one, again, I've said it before, but his arranged marriage is to this one girl. Like from when they were kids, their parents said that this is who they're gonna marry. They knew that the whole time. Well, this stupid idiot decides to date the older sister. This older sister, y'all. I can't deal with her. I can't deal with her. I can't do it. Anyway, so he decides to date the older sister, and then the grandmother's like, well, you know what, since you're already dating, might as well get married. It's the same family, so it's fine. So the stupid girl, the older sister, just keeps pushing back the wedding. She's like is she a model? She's an actress or something like that. So she's constantly like doing something else. So she keeps pushing back the wedding and all this stuff. And the grandmother's like, you're not going to push it back anymore. Like, this wedding day, you had to plan the date. She was like, it's happening this day, whether you're the one walking down the aisle or not. So then they forced the sister, the younger sister, to walk down the aisle and get married to this guy. Her best friend, basically, her really good friend, who she thought she was going to marry from the get-go and was betrayed by her older sister. So anyway, so then they get married. So then he's like, you're my wife now, like I'm giving it my all, like we're getting married, blah blah blah. Again, it was just one of those things that you just want to keep knowing what you want to know what's happening. You're like, but wait, and these are both dual point of view, which is also amazing. You get the guy's perspective, the girl, you get everything, and it's so juicy. It's literally like juicy gossip when you read these. You're like, oh my gosh, I just gotta know, I want to know. And so obsessed. I could see why I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I could see why I did it, you know. Read it in a day. Okay, only a couple more books. This is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Again, this is actually so funny because this book, I was so mad. This book is written in third person. At first, I was like, I'm not reading that. I can't do it. Then I was just kind of like, okay, I'll read it, but like, I'll read it really slow. Like, it'll take me... I read it in a day. It was, again, like a drug. It was just like, I want to know, like, Brendan is so cute. Again, if you guys don't know, this girl, actually, she's like this bougie girl. She has a lot of money. She comes from a lot of money. Her stepdad has a lot of money, basically. But then she gets in trouble, and her stepdad's like, no, you gotta go realize, like, the meaning of money, basically. So he sends her off to, like, a small town where she meets Brendan. And you can obviously see where the vibes are. Opposites attract, grumpy sunshine, that kind of vibe. And so he actually is like, he's just like very into routine. He doesn't like change, that kind of stuff. But she's obviously not, like, she's obviously a change to the town, to everything. So at first he's kind of like, get out. And then he's like, oh, dang, I was mean to her. And then you kind of see like his character change, her character. There's just so much impact in this book. It is so good. I laughed so, like, this is probably the number one book that I've laughed out loud in. There's some that bring me joy or like kind of like smile. No. I like cackle belly laugh. Like I had to hold it in because I was laughing so much at this book. And I'm like, people are gonna think I'm crazy because it was just so freaking funny. And it was just so many good moments, many good moments that I'm like, I can see why I read this in a day. And this one is actually, it also is spicy open door romance, but this is 397 pages, so insane. But again, pretty, it seems, actually I feel like this writing, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of writing on these pages, I don't know, but I did it. Okay, so I'm just going to show you them all just because, but these are all the Wicked Villains books from Katie Robert. So these are really like short, honestly. Let me see, 209 pages, so like half as much as everyone else's. So like, of course I read these in a day, but these are basically like, they're the villains of normal stories. So this is like Jafar, the queen of something, this Ursula, obviously, the Beast, so Gaten, and the Gaten, his name is Gaston in real stories, but in the book it's Gaten, like Hook. This is Hades and Hercules. So like it's all different villains, and they kind of make them the good person, if you will. So they end up like, for the Hook one, Peter Pan is the villain and he's the good one, and he ends up with like Tink. So it's like that kind of vibe, but these are very like spicy, open door, all that stuff. So the storyline, they do have storylines though, so just so you know, it actually is, they're all super unique. It's just kind of like, they're like, this guy, obviously Hades, is fighting like not Hercules, Zeus, which in this book is the father to Hercules. So it's just so much like in this in this kind of book. I don't know what I was gonna say. They're all basically like 200 pages, so like, of course I read those in a day. They were so quick and easy. They were really fun though. And then I also did read this one, which I mentioned I think in my reading wrap up last month. This is a bit less than 200 pages. This is 180 pages. Like, do I even count this as a book? This is The Dragon's Bride, again by Katie Robert. So again, it's just like basically like a short story. This is a series though. It's A Deal with the Demon, where the girls all end up having, all the main girls in the books made a deal with this guy, because, what is his name? I always forget his name and I want to know it. Oh, it's I know it. It's the name for like all the stupid demon things in movies and stuff. Azazel, oh my gosh, Azazel, and he's in, not he is in, but Azazel is also the guy from, what is it called? Not Wolverine. I'm like a hot mess, but basically that series, the X-Men, oh my gosh, and Azazel is the one with the demon one, the devil one. So, oh my gosh, I'm like, it's always Azazel. But anyway, so they all make a deal with Azazel, and because they want to get out of a certain situation, and so if he does that for them, then they owe him 7 years of service. So this girl was in an abusive relationship and needed to get out of it, so she made a deal, said 7 years if you kill him, and then so she has to, whatever. So all these girls, he picks like, I think 5 or 6 girls like need him at the same time, and so it's 5 or 6 books or something like that. So this girl ends up with the dragon, and then he basically auctions them off and like gives them to one of the leaders of all the other territories, and then they all for the 7 years of service they have to live with whoever like picked them. So she picks the dragon picks her, and then she's with her for whatever, the whole book. And so it's really, again, short stories, very quick, but nice. Again, very spicy, very open door. That's it. All right, that's all the books. And again, it's a weird assortment. Like, obviously the 200 pagers, like, obviously, because I'm like, yeah, I could read 100. I think like, I don't know if this is fast or slow, but I feel like 100 pages takes me like 2 hours, like from what I've noticed. And so like, again, 200 pages, I'm like, come on, that takes me like 4 hours. Like, I feel like I could read that fast. It's obviously, I could read that in a day. But some of these other ones, I'm like, yeah, they were good books, but none I would place as, bingeable book. I don't know, it's so weird, but they were good. I was surprised none of the new books that I just read were in that either, because they took me a while. Those fantasy books are massive that I just did again on Tuesday you would have seen it. If you guys have any video ideas, please let me know down below. Anything you want to see, anything you want to see me talk about. I have so many like I could do so many reading vlogs, but I can only do so many in a month because they are overwhelming, and like it's really hard to like remember to vlog when you're reading. So definitely let me know if there's a specific like series or something that you want me to do a reading vlog for, then I'll make that a priority. And then let me know if there's other books that you want me to do more in-depth video on. And I feel like that's everything. I don't know what else I need to say. Bye, nerds.